Never in the furthest corners of my imagination did I foresee my marriage unraveling over a single, emotionless sentence. It was delivered so casually, as if it bore no weight. It's only one night, just one night with him. Please. Her name was Eleanor. For nearly 10 years, Eleanor and I built a life grounded in comfort and quiet joy. Ours was a routine life, filled with the small, sacred habits that stitched days together into something resembling forever. Mornings began with coffee, fingers brushing as we passed the sugar jar. Friday nights were our ritual, curled up on the couch beneath a shared blanket, absorbed in our favorite series. Saturdays meant slow strolls through grocery aisles, playfully debating whether we should splurge on artisan bread or stick to the cheaper loaf. We weren't glamorous, but we were steady. We were real, or so I believed. Eleanor had been flourishing at a top-tier marketing firm for 4 years. That ambition of hers, it had always drawn me in like a flame. But lately I noticed a shift. Her style had become sharper, her clothing more thoughtfully assembled. She stayed later at the office. The explanations made sense. At first, nothing alarming. Then his name started to appear. Julian Voss, her boss. Wealthy, charismatic, newly single, devastatingly attractive. Julian had the effortless magnetism of someone who naturally commanded attention. I initially brushed it off. Who wouldn't be a little dazzled? It felt harmless. But harmless infatuation grew into something far more consuming. Soon, Julian existed in our home, not physically, but in Eleanor's constant mentions. She recounted his clever remarks, praised his bold business moves, quoted him like scripture. Worse, she began subtly comparing me to him. Her critiques came wrapped in politeness, but they cut deep. Julian would have handled it differently, she'd say. Or, Julian always closes a deal. With each mention, the foundation of our marriage wore thinner. Though at the time, I didn't grasp the extent of the erosion. Then came the evening that shattered everything. We were sitting at our small kitchen table, the remains of a risotto dinner cooling between us. Eleanor set down her wine glass and looked at me with unsettling calm. "Daniel," she said evenly, like she was asking to borrow my jacket. "This will sound crazy, but Julian invited me to spend the weekend in Napa. Just the two of us." She didn't stop there. "He says there's something between us, something magnetic. He wants one night, no strings. I'll come back to you afterward. I promise." The room seemed to tilt. Her wine glass trembled, as if even the glass recoiled from her words. My heart pounded, but my thoughts turned razor sharp, slicing to the haze of disbelief. This wasn't a reckless confession. This had been contemplated. She hadn't come seeking permission. She was testing how much dignity I'd sacrifice to keep her. "You want a night with him?" I asked, my voice oddly steady. She nodded, tired eyes fixed on mine. "Just one. It won't change what we have. I need to know. Then I'll come back. I swear." I didn't reply right away. Instead, I pushed back my chair, its legs scraping against the hardwood, and walked to our bedroom. From the closet, I pulled out the duffel bag we'd taken on our honeymoon to Crete. The fabric still held creases from that sun-soaked trip. Slowly, I began packing, sweaters, books, pieces of the life we'd shared. She followed me in, her confusion rising. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice rising. "Giving you what you asked for," I said calmly, folding a jacket with precision. "If one night with Julian is what you need, take it. Take every night. I'm done." She gave a shaky laugh, as if waiting for me to reveal the punchline. But I wasn't joking. That night, I didn't sleep. The soft glow of my laptop screen lit the divorce forms I drafted with my attorney. By morning, the documents were printed and signed. I handed her the papers. My signature, firm and final, spoke for me. "You were willing to gamble our marriage for a night with your boss," I said, my voice calm despite the ache in my chest. "Now you're free. No more hiding. No more lies. Live the life you've chosen." Her composure cracked. She pleaded, words tumbling out in panic fragments. She called a mistake, said she never meant to hurt me, begged me to reconsider. But the damage was done. not by the act itself, but by how easily she had entertained the thought. As if 9 years of love and history were something she could pause for a fling. The betrayal wasn't physical. It was in the ease of her proposition, how smoothly she spoke of wanting someone else, believing our marriage could survive her curiosity. What followed was a haze. Lawyers, packed boxes, splitting a life down the middle. Eleanor left and moved in with her cousin. Across the city, her world now separate from mine. Word eventually reached me that Eleanor's much-anticipated getaway to Napa with Julian hadn't blossomed into the sweeping love story she might have imagined. For him, it was exactly what he said it would be, a fleeting encounter. One night, no promises. She had gambled it all. Our marriage, the trust we built, the memories we spent years collecting, all for a momentary escape. And by sunrise, she was alone. A full year passed before I heard from her again. Her voice came through a voicemail, thick with regret. "You were right, Daniel," she said, her words breaking under the weight of her emotion. "I made a terrible mistake. I threw everything away for something that meant nothing. I'm so sorry." I listened to it once, then deleted it. I never returned the call. There was nothing left to salvage. No loose thread to pull. No part of me still tethered to the past. 3 years have gone by since that message. Now I live in Seattle, where I run a small branding agency from a cozy office in my home. The loneliness that once felt like an open wound has become a source of quiet strength, a space where I've learned to be whole on my own. My days are filled with quiet joys. The sound of rain against the windows, the satisfaction of completing a project with precision, and the freedom of living on my own terms. As for Eleanor, she got her night. But it came at the cost of everything we had built together. She believed that one lapse wouldn't matter, that our love could weather a single betrayal. But she misunderstood what love is. Real love doesn't test boundaries. It doesn't flirt with the edge of betrayal. It's about choosing each other over and over, especially when temptation whispers otherwise. When she looked at me and asked for permission to be with another man, she wasn't just asking for one night. She revealed a truth she had perhaps been hiding from even herself, that her heart was already gone. Her request wasn't about impulsiveness. It was a confession. I didn't leave her out of anger. I left because I saw things clearly. What I lost wasn't a wife. It was the illusion of a woman I thought I knew, someone I believed was committed to our shared life. But in letting go of that illusion, I gained something far more valuable. The strength to expect love that doesn't ask me to compromise my worth, the determination to start over, and the peace that comes with accepting that some choices, once made, cannot be undone. And in that clarity, I found something priceless, a life rebuilt not from what was broken, but from what was true.